Hello, Queens. I'd like to welcome you to today's presentation. I'll be taking us through self awareness this month. Let me just begin with a short introduction. So, my name is Stella Mbogo, and I'm passionate about mental health. I'm also a Christian, a wife, and a mom, and I'm so privileged to be taking us through this series. So, for today, I'll begin by just giving you a bird's view of what to expect in the month of March. So, we're talking about mental well being and we're looking at self awareness, and we're going to do it in four parts. So, today is part one, and we're looking at the foundation. We have part two, which is biblical self awareness. Part three is self talk, and part four is self care habits. Then we're going to finish off the month with a check in. So that's what we'll be covering this month, and I'm really excited. I'm excited about it, and I know this will be so beneficial for you. So let's get into today's presentation. So, as I said, we're looking at foundations. So, the first thing we need to look at is definition as a way of introduction. But before we get into that, let me just take us through the objectives. We'll define a few things, and then we're going to look at importance of self-awareness, barriers to self-awareness. We'll recap, then I'll talk about the assignment. So let's get into it. So before we define what self-awareness is, we need to look at mental well-being. What exactly is mental well-being? So we talk a lot about mental health, mental well-being, but what does it mean? So mental well-being is that internal positive view that you're coping well psychologically with the stresses of life. So we're talking about your thinking, your feeling, your doing. How are you doing in those areas? Are you doing well? Do you feel positive about them? How do you feel? Self awareness. Let's go on to that. So, self awareness is your own understanding of your character, your feelings, your motives, your desires, and behaviors. Self awareness is how well you know yourself, how well you know the details and intricacies of who you are. And there are two aspects of self awareness: there's internal, which is your own perception of self, and then we have external, which is others' perception of you. So you can't really say that self awareness is complete until you know how other people are experiencing you, how they're experiencing your behavior, your way of thinking, the way you function in daily life, the way you communicate. That's the external aspect of self-awareness. Let's go to importance of self-awareness, and I'll tell you guys that self-awareness is a superpower. It's the foundation of change. Self-awareness is so important. Just being able to examine yourself, know yourself, understand how you think, how you work, how you do things. It's really important. The first thing it does for you is that it helps you identify your patterns of thinking, feeling, and doing. Basically, when you have self-awareness, you're able to have an idea of how you think, how you feel, and how you behave, which is very important if you want to have emotional intelligence. Self-awareness is, as I say, the foundation of change. So definitely it promotes self-development, and then it fosters healing. If you've ever been in therapy, you need to do a lot of reflection, and reflection is the basis of self-awareness, just being able to examine yourself. Then it widens your perspective. When you start thinking deeply and reflecting about yourself, reflecting about your day, your emotions, the things that are happening to you, you really develop a wide perspective. your relationships improve, and you also learn how to manage your emotions. So, what are some of the barriers to self-awareness? Because you you can meet someone and perceive that their self-awareness is low. Now, these are some of the barriers, the things that can prevent you from having a high level of self-awareness. The first one is emotional avoidance. Basically, this is where you just don't want to confront your emotions. You just you avoid confronting your emotions. You deny, you know that maybe you're having a struggle somewhere, you're having an issue, but you don't want to confront, you just block it. And then there's fear. Fear holds us back from so many things. There's a fear of change. Change is uncomfortable. Change can be painful. Then lack of regulation. So this is where someone feels like I I can't manage this uncomfortable emotion, so I'd rather not confront it. I don't want to know. Then poor time management. Self-awareness requires time. It requires you to invest in yourself, invest time, take time to reflect on yourself. So if you don't create time to do that, then it won't happen. So today's lesson is very short. It's just a recap to whet your appetite, to get you excited about self-awareness. And we've just looked at an introduction. We've just laid the foundation today. And we've looked at the definition of self-awareness. We've talked about why it's important. We've talked about the barriers. So you can continue thinking in your own life, why is self-awareness important for you specifically? And you can also think, what are some of the things that have held you back? What are some of the things that are holding you back from having a high self-awareness? Our assignment, our assignment is going to be a self-awareness test, and I'm going to share the link on the group. So you're going to take this test at the beginning of the month, save your rating somewhere or save your score somewhere. Then at the end of the month, you'll do it again, then you'll compare, because the whole idea is for us to grow in our self-awareness. And then sneak peek of next week's lesson. Next week, we're going to look at biblical self-awareness. You must be wondering, okay, what does self-awareness have to do with Christianity, with the Proverbs 31 woman? So next week, that's what we're going to look at. And then I'd like to introduce you to the 21-day self-awareness challenge, which I'm really excited about. So from the 1st to the 21st of March, 2025, I'll be hosting a daily meeting. This will be a challenge for us to come and journal together. So at 9 o'clock, I'll host the meeting. You will log in, come in with your journal. So we're going to get in, we'll do an opening prayer, and then we're going to do a check-in. So I'll just find out, how was your day? How are you doing? What emotions did you experience during the day? And then you'll take some time to journal and take a few notes. I'll give the journal prompts during the session. And then we're going to use a scripture to just pray, to release the day to God, to release our emotions and our offenses, so that we can start experiencing freedom. We can start walking in true freedom and not being chained by our negative emotions. And then we'll also do this in community. I'll be there. I'll hold your hand throughout the 21 days, and it will be amazing. Thank you so much. That's all we have for today. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here. I'll be available. I'm on the group. You can reach out to me with your questions. I'll be happy to answer, and I'm looking forward to take you through this session. God bless.